Monkeys are funny. Planet of the Apes. It's a strange series, isn't it? Like, just conceptually, compared to every other franchise today. In modern film, humanity faces a lot of threats. You know, like aliens, monsters, dinosaurs, robots, this guy. So I appreciate a series that takes a step back and goes, what if everything was monkeys? The original is a classic, a staple of science fiction, iconic lines, fantastic dance numbers, and a twist ending that has been referenced so many times, it would actually be a twist if somebody didn't know about it. There were sequels of varying quality. What is even going on here? They sequeled it up until the franchise died in heat death sometime in the 70s. Then, in the 2010s, there were actually good movies. Okay, I kid. But the new trilogy is really good. While the world obsessed over Iron Man and Batman, I had my own hero, Caesar the Chimp. Caesar! And between these two eras, there was the Tim Burton one, with Mark Wahlberg. And this, we're gonna talk about that one.
I must be out of my mind, out of my mind.
Tim Burton. Everyone knows Tim Burton. Everyone likes Tim Burton. 20 years ago, there's very distinct eras of Tim Burton movies. A good era, an era, and the most recent, the Burton brand has become very worn out and tired. But who's to say where that decline even began? Was it everything after Ed Wood? Yes.
You people are insane! You're wasting your life making shit! Nobody cares! These movies are terrible!
Ain't topping that. But most people would probably say it started with Planet of the Apes. This was the first film from Burton that really didn't feel like it was from him. It lacked that style, which was something many actually liked at one time, before it became overplayed and corporatized. This movie is an island, alone. It has no influence on what came after. A failed reboot. Oh wait, I'm sorry. A reimagining. It left really no legacy. It wasn't even parodied. It faced the worst fate imaginable, simply being forgotten. Except at least by a few who watched this as their first ever experience with Planet of the Apes. Like me, this was my first experience with Planet of the Apes. You know what really annoys me? Watching a YouTube review and like 90% of the video is just a plot summary. Don't you just hate that? Typically, I hate summarizing a plot. But like, when was the last time any of you watched the Tim Burton monkey movie? I want us to all be on the same page. So, in the futuristic year of 2029, humanity has taken to the stars with a giant spaceship full of monkeys. Because of what I can only assume was thanks to a Butlerian jihad, robots do not exist, and this advanced spacefaring future still uses chimp pilots for some reason. I don't think you need to shoot a monkey into a black hole to know that's a pretty bad idea. While investigating a space disturbance, Mark Wahlberg's favorite chimp blips out of existence. And he's the only one who really seems to care. So what is he to do? Go out on a ship of his own, of course. How is he planning on rescuing the chimp exactly? I don't know. Through the magic of space portals and imagination, Marky Mark blips out of existence, at least from the perspective of his crew. Mark Wahlberg crash lands on a jungle planet. No, I can't keep calling him that this whole video. What was his character's actual name in the movie? Captain Leo Davidson. So Mark Wahlberg crash lands on a jungle planet. Just in time for the local game of tag. And guess who's it? It's the humans. Imagine landing on a planet thousands of years in the future, and the only difference is an ironic switch-up of the natural order.
Take your stinking hands off me, you damn dirty human!
Captured alongside the rest of the filthy humans, Mark is taken to the slave market, led by Paul Giamatti in an orangutan suit.
Alright, get 'em out and get 'em clean! Get
Some say this is his best role. Who cares about John Adams? My favorite character of his was Limbo.
Wear your gloves when you handle humans.
So Mark and his lady friend are bought by Ari, a bleeding heart who just can't stand to see sentient creatures being enslaved.
No, not you again.
You know me, just can't stand by while human beings are being mistreated, tortured, mutilated.
She keeps making a ruckus and only gets away with it because her dad is a rich senator. She's just constantly annoying General Thade. General Thade is, well...
For me.
He hates humans, can't stand humans.
Give me absolute power to rid this planet of the humans once and for all.
Total human annihilation. Kill humans. Behead humans. Roundhouse kick them into the concrete.
So after this dinner scene where the politics of the world are explained in a subtle and not ham-fisted way at all,
these humans carry terrible diseases.
I think the city has about as much diversity as I can handle.
Mark and the gang decide they're going to make a break for it and escape into the wild. And the entire army is alerted at their escape.
Have you seen any humans? No.
All the soldiers get suited up, ready to hunt the humans down. Where could those humans possibly be? Oh, I guess they're just right behind them. Why did you do that, man? You all had time to escape, just go through the door. After that pointless sacrifice, the humans and their new reluctant ape friends travel deep into the jungle, back to get Marky Mark's secret weapon, a gun.
Take it easy.
Truly, this gun will turn the tide of the battle, and son of a bitch.
What the hell are you doing?
At least they got Paul Giamatti. Glad we get to see what wacky shenanigans he'll be up to. Fun fact, the apes have religion.
Bow your heads!
They worship the first ape, Simos, the monkey god emperor, if you will.
We give thanks to you, Simos, for the fruit of the land.
But Mark Wahlberg is a devout Catholic and doesn't believe in such pagan idols, so he burns their monkey temple to the ground. Apparently, a rescue ship has come to pick up Mark Wahlberg, and so he follows the tracker further into the barren wastes, the home of the sacred site Kali Ma. The supposed origin of where the apes themselves came from. I wonder what Kali Ma could possibly be. It's the ship. It's the ship Mark Wahlberg is from. Yeah, so after he blipped out of existence, the ship tried to find him, and it also blipped out of existence too, crash landing on the planet thousands of years before. There's a lot of time travel shenanigans in this movie. The monkeys that were on the ship somehow staged an uprising and killed all the humans, thus creating a planet of, you know. So Mark Wahlberg caused all of this. Suddenly, the gang is met with hundreds of more humans.
They all want to see this human who defies the apes.
How did all of these people know about him? Let's just say vibes. It's like a Shining thing. Look, the movie needs an ending battle, okay? They needed more people. And final battle we shall, as General Thade has arrived at the ship with his army. And before Mark Wahlberg gets beat to death, a cosmic light appears from the sky. Could it be Jesus? Could it be an asteroid blessing this planet with certain doom? Neither. It's the chimp from the start of the movie. And all the apes think that he's their god. Not General Thade though. He's a hardcore atheist. He beats that monkey to a pulp. General Thade is defeated. He gets locked in this room. With his job done, Mark decides to get on his ship and fly back to his home planet. Luckily, this space pod has the capability of a full spaceship, and he's able to fly right back through the wormhole and travel back to our solar system. Ah, home sweet home. I like that he crash lands a pod that an actual chimp knew how to land 10 minutes earlier. Crashes right into the Lincoln Memorial. Or the, oh. Lincoln is looking a little different. Everyone's looking a little... Oh my god. This planet's gone bananas. The writing isn't great. The tone is kind of off.
And wash your hands before dinner.
But I wouldn't say it's laughably bad. Most of the time, it tried its best. For one, the practical effects are insane. In an age where sets are just a green screen that overworked CGI artists have to deal with, seeing this jungle set full of extras and detailed ape costumes is kind of impressive. Compared to what we see today, it's like I'm looking at the ruins of old Hollywood. Damn you all to hell. Most of this movie is practical. Really, it wasn't made too differently than the original. The method simply evolved with time. Looking at the behind the scenes, that is as time-consuming as you'd expect. Everyone arrived at like 4 AM to sit in a makeup chair for hours. They just flat out entombed this man. It really is such a shame. All this work and effort went into creating this. So, before the original movie went into full production, there was a test screenshot using prototypes of the ape makeup. It wasn't perfect, but the point of it was to show that audiences could watch a film with talking apes and take it seriously. One of the studio's biggest fears was that everyone would just outright laugh, because monkey funny, but they didn't, so it was greenlit. In my opinion, I don't think it was just because of how convincing the ape makeup was for the time. I think it was because of how the apes acted. They just acted like people.
Your conclusion is premature. If you've forgotten your scripture, the 13th scroll, and Proteus brought the upright beast into the garden and chained him to a tree.
This was a movie where the roles were reversed, and the actual humans couldn't talk at all. The apes could talk a little too well, if anything. They were kind of just little nerds, obsessed with science.
That he set him apart from the beasts of the jungle, and made him the lord of the planet.
Tim Burton reimagined the apes a bit differently. These apes act far more ape-like. Which, hey, that makes sense. They're apes. Of course they'd act like that. But then you see the movie.
What's wrong? Apes are afraid of the water. They can't swim.
We drown.
This is awkward and weird. This is just people in monkey masks snarling at each other.
You my lover.
The problem is, no matter how good the makeup is, these are still people in monkey costumes. Because of just how human proportions work, this is not what apes look like. These do not remind me of apes. They remind me of hairy cave people. I just can't take them seriously at all. By making the apes act more ape-like, it prophetically did what the original was so afraid of doing. It made the apes goofy. General Thade, our main antagonist, comes off as this strange little gremlin. Look at this goober. How am I supposed to be intimidated by this? It doesn't help that the ape prosthetics muffled the actor's ability to talk, and they just never bothered redubbing the lines.
Oh, these are the skankiest, scabbiest, scuzziest humans I've ever seen.
They talk like they just got new braces.
Nothing but trees and rocks.
If you wonder why the reception wasn't great to this film, it wasn't just the plot or writing. It was because everyone was put off by the monkeys. I sent my wife pictures of Paul Giamatti for a month straight.
Who wants to buy some aspirin?
And she did not like that at all. And I assume others didn't like the apes either. They just knew something was off. And after 3 other movies, I think I know why it didn't work. This movie is in the uncanny valley. People in ape costumes basically acting like people, fine. CGI apes acting slightly like people, fine. People in ape costumes acting like apes, very odd, ew. Stop that. I get the nostalgia for an old Hollywood where practical effects grounded a film, and I appreciate the effort that went into these costumes, but man, no amount of makeup is gonna make this acting work. The Caesar reboot is one of the few instances where a CGI reboot was actually an improvement. The movements and characters are still done by actors, just like any other ape film, but instead of being in prosthetics, they're playing a CGI realistic ape. Now that I think about it, the apes throughout this entire franchise were really supposed to look like this.
What a wonderful day!
At the end of the day, these are just apes. Smart apes, but still physically and anatomically the same apes. They only looked humanoid in past movies because, well, how else are you gonna do this without people in monkey masks? Those limitations created an iconic look for the apes that got cemented into the franchise. Honestly, I think over the years, the fact these are even supposed to be anatomical apes kinda got lost in translation. Like a game of telephone. A lot of people, Burton especially, just subconsciously associated them as hairy people. But still, in-universe, they are just apes. What I'm getting at here is that for some reason, Mark Wahlberg is in a f***ing love triangle with a chimpanzee.
Oh no!
To be fair, there was a kiss between man and ape in the original too, and that was still pretty f***ing weird.
Doctor, I'd like to kiss you goodbye.
Right in front of her fiance too. Charlton cucked a chimp. You know what's worse than kissing a chimp? Having slight sexual tension with a chimp. For like the whole movie. Why would she even smile after that? Aren't humans like animals in her world or something? Earlier in the movie, they sold this little girl like a puppy.
Just for you.
Did she just kiss this world's equivalent of a dog? But wait, humans are enslaved for housework too. So they can't just be animals. Animals don't do housework, except in the Flintstones.
Goodness, Cretaceous!
What's the analogy here? What even is the dynamic between humans and apes? What's going on? So, in the original, humans are basically animals. They're these silent, stupid creatures that only forage and scurry about. Physically, they look the same, but mentally, they're like rabbits. It's like an All Tomorrow's adaptation. These are mantelopes. Apes are undeniably the smart masters of this world. I'm just talking about the original. Don't bring up that psychic secret society, that doesn't count. Now, for some reason, in the Tim Burton film, humans are smart. Like, there isn't an intelligence gap. They speak English.
We'll go together.
They have complex thoughts.
We drown. That's why every day we pray for rain.
They're so normal, Mark Wahlberg, an astronaut, can land in the middle of their group and fit right in.
How the hell did these monkeys get like this?
What other way would they be?
They'd be begging me for a treat right now.
There's not even a cultural difference despite the hundreds of years these tribal people have lived in this world.
I want all those people behind the ship, but don't hide them, they need to be seen.
What about us?
Yet the apes still act like the humans are the stupidest creatures alive.
These humans carry terrible diseases.
As if these are the same human cattle from the original film. But now they're just regular-ass people in caveman clothing.
The humans infest the provinces.
You stink of humans. How many times do I have to tell you, wear your gloves when you handle humans?
Like this girl, the Nova equivalent. She can talk, she can think. There is never a single time that she even acts more primitive than Mark Wahlberg. It gets to a point where I'm mainly just confused why the humans even let the apes treat them like that in the first place. The dynamic in this world is absolutely one-sided, for no reason. Why have they never bothered to fight back? They are perfectly capable of putting up a resistance. The only explanation the movie makes is that the apes are just simply stronger. They'll have this overwhelming advantage, and we'd be powerless to stop them, or something, even though humans outpopulate them. Like, its sole existence was waiting for Mark Wahlberg to show up and win the day, because this has to be Planet of the Apes. The ape films usually have some underlying theme in relation to our world, and the Burton film decided to just take every analogy and sort of smush them together. Like Play-Doh. The overall theme of the movie is that discrimination is bad, and it displays this theme by just having the apes talk about how much they hate humans.
Everything in the human culture takes place below the waist.
Just say how these regular people are smelly and stinky.
How many times do I have to tell you, wear your gloves when you handle humans?
All while snarling at each other. The apes have a religion. That religion has somehow been in the control of a single ape family for generations. Like General Thade's family is descended from Samos or something. By the end of the movie, this centuries-long religion just ends because some of the apes saw where they really came from.
We lived in peace together. It was Samos. He's the one who killed everybody.
They just really hate General Thade now, so they abandon their faith.
Everything I have believed is a lie. You and your family have betrayed us.
Not only do the apes abandon their old faith, but they decide to work together with humans now too.
We'll be able to tell apes from humans. They will be mourned together, as it should be, from now on.
Because that's how ethnic conflict gets resolved. All it took was to overthrow this one guy. So many metaphors are thrown together that they just mix up.
This is one of their house humans. He thinks he's better than us. He thinks he's part ape.
This lore is a gray goo, a shallow pond, an imitation of another fictional society that actually put thought into how it works. Instead, they tried every analogy all at once, and broke the lore of their own universe. And kinda broke the mind of their audience too. Speaking of breaking the audience, the end of the original Planet of the Apes is a classic twist. Even if it really wasn't that much of a twist, the clues were laid on pretty thick that last third, but that's not the point. Everyone knows that famous twist. And everyone that saw this movie knows that they tried to do a twist of their own. What a crazy twist. People were legit confused and bamboozled. Was this a cheap attempt at recapturing the feeling of the original? Who knows? Ironically, this ending is the only thing anyone even remembers about the movie. Hell, it's probably the only reason you clicked on this video. Here's the thing. This twist, infamous, dumb twist, that doesn't even make sense, is more accurate to the book than the original movie. Yeah, so in the original book that the 1960s movie was adapted from, it actually was an entirely different planet. The astronaut escapes on a spaceship and makes it back to regular Earth in the modern day. And after he lands, he isn't greeted by people, he's greeted by apes. Burton didn't pull this ending out of his ass. It wasn't a random twist. It was, if anything, an homage to the book that started it all. This asspull is ingrained into the very origins of the franchise. How did Earth become populated by apes? Who the hell knows? The "it was Earth all along" thing was invented by the movie. They just changed the ending because I think they thought it was pretty stupid. Let's be honest, it kind of is. The fact humanity destroyed itself and created this ape future is a lot more impactful than just, there's a monkey planet out there. This twist actually goes even deeper. You see, I thought Ape Lincoln was just some alternate version of Lincoln, but he isn't. He's General Thade. How? Somehow General Thade escaped, took a spaceship through that wormhole, time traveled, and arrived on Earth somewhere in the past, wiping out the humans and transforming the planet into a planet of apes. All out of what I'm assuming was pure spite. That's honestly impressive. Professional hater right there. This ending was sequel bait for a sequel that just never happened. Where they were planning on taking the story, I have no idea. They probably didn't either. As funny as it is to make fun of this movie, Planet of the Apes 2001 isn't really that bad. When I first started this video, I expected some absolute mess to make fun of. I didn't really get that. I'm kind of too deep in now though to go back, so joke's on me. As funny as it is to clown on the term reimagine, there is a reason they used that term. It wasn't just dumb Hollywood PR. Watching the behind the scenes, you can tell that everyone involved loved the original Planet of the Apes. I think Tim Burton only did this project because he was so obsessed with the original. Imagine if you made it in Hollywood and had a chance to put a spin on a franchise you love. Of course you would take a swing at it. They didn't want to call it a remake because, in their words, nothing could replace the original, but it still ended up on the list of failed reboots. As Robert Ebert put it, 10 years from now, it'll be the 1968 version that people are still renting. Ironically, as much as they tried to reimagine this franchise, this take on it was kind of seen as outdated, if anything. It's kind of a miracle the series went in the direction that it did. Not simply a prequel, but an entirely new take on what a Planet of the Apes movie could be. Ironically, it was these movies that did the reimagining. Going that full measure is more risky, but if the story is good, and the creative vision behind it is strong, it'll pay off. Planet of the Apes 2001 was a half measure. At least it taught Tim Burton a lesson to never try to reinvent a classic movie ever again.
What is that?
Oh.
Damn them. Damn them all to hell!